welcome to Skillion again. This is episode 9.
Nine.
We got the carbon and the juice going. The juice is water mostly because it's hot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
It could be resin. I don't know.
Could be. I guess it could be the resin. Yeah.
Juice.
But today, what we're doing is carbon skinning, and what that means basically is we're going to take real carbon fiber and we're going to overlay it on top of an existing part to make it look fantastic. Now, why would you do carbon skinning and not a vinyl wrap? Vinyl wraps are actually very, very good. I'm not going to discount them. I use them. They're fantastic, and they're better at UV resistance. They won't degrade in the sun. Every piece of carbon fiber will degrade in UV. I don't care how many clear coats you throw on it, it will eventually degrade. It just happens.
Do you have to re-clear coat carbon then?
Yeah, you'll have to sand it, take the top layer off. It's been UV damaged and yellowed, and redo it. It's just the nature of it. There's really, really good top coats out there now, and like with BMW with the carbon roofs, they have special coatings they're putting in there, and you're going very, very heavy on the clear, special types of clear. So there are ways around it, but ultimately you're always fighting a losing battle versus the sun. The sun will win, you will lose. But
just like humanity.
Yeah, carbon wraps are great for that. When they are not good is if you already have carbon fiber parts. So on the Frankenboxer, we already have a bunch of carbon. So
diffuser, ducktail, intake.
Yeah. So let's see if we'll do a pop off here. See if I can kind of walk everybody over slightly and show you exactly. Click.
Just can't unplug the thing. Yeah.
We'll walk it over here. So on the Frankenboxer, we already have a bunch of carbon parts. We have the front intake for the third radiator, the mirrors themselves, and actually what we're doing today is this side vent right there on the side. So that side vent I built is very, very a one-off piece, and it is a full carbon duct that goes into a carbon air box that goes into a carbon tube that feeds the intake throttle body. So it is a full carbon setup, and it sounds beautiful, although you can't hear it anymore because my titanium exhaust is way louder.
So loud.
Way louder. But the problem I have is I have that on my driver's side, but on my passenger side, I pretty much have the factory vent from Porsche, which looks like this. Now I did a plasticated black on it, so it doesn't really stand out. It's not like obvious in your face, side to side.
Right.
But I know it's there. I know it could look better, so I want to fix this. This is the driver's side. This is the original factory intake, but it's exactly a mirror image of what we have on the passenger side of the car. So what we're going to do today, if we want to flop over.
Switch over. Yeah, I can do that.
What we're going to do is I found a set of side intakes. So here's a factory piece again. I found a set of side intakes from, I believe they were TechArt was the one who came up with this design. And I love this design. I think that looks amazing on the 987s. So what I did was when I built mine on my driver's side, I copied the look of this edge, but then all of this all this is different on mine. But I copied the edge, this scoop, and I think it looks great. So what I want to do is I want both sides of my car to be, same, but different. So I want them to look a little bit more close. I want them to look, both sides to kind of look like this, as opposed to having one side with this factory vent.
Yeah.
So what I did was I went out and I bought a set of these vents. Now this is the other side. This is the driver's side vent, but I have the passenger side as well. And the passenger side really only feeds a fan, is what it does. So the driver's side of a 987 chassis is the intake for the engine. The passenger side is just an engine fan. There's a big fan that hooks up here, and every time the car gets warm, kicks on, blows air. And it works really, really well actually at dropping engine bay temps. So you need that.
There you go, yeah. And that's why a real carbon fiber piece you'd want to use for like an intake or like actual functional, losing weight.
Especially because that intake is, if I pulled that carbon piece out, I have pictures online if you look through my Instagram, but it is not like this. It is, this is the edge and it goes to like here. And then it goes to a carbon box, it's like here, and then has a carbon duct come out that. So it is a lot of material. And if I try to make that out of metal or fiberglass or plastic or something else, it would be a lot more, that'd be a lot heavy. And actually, what's very cool about the carbon, especially for the intake, was the resonance.
Yeah.
So what everybody loves about the CSL intake on the E46 M3 is the way that carbon intake sounds and echoes. It sounds glorious.
It's amazing.
It just sings that induction noise. So this is...
But fans aren't going to have any induction.
Yeah. And also the other reason was, like I said, for skidding, I'm just going to get the look. I'm going for looks.
Right.
Which brings me back to wrapping.
Yeah.
And I am not talking about the other kind of carbon in the juice wrapping. I'm talking about vinyl wrapping. Now, when I bought these, they came with what is called a 3M Deek Knock, I believe they're called. And as far as carbon fiber wraps goes, these are the best.
Like, look at it.
I mean, 3M makes some quality stuff.
Feels nice.
And you can look at that. You can see it actually looks, it's got some shine to it because there's actually physically ridges on this.
Yeah.
So it looks pretty good. The wrap job, we're not going to comment on the wrap job. But the material's nice. I've used 3M Deek Knock in the past. I like it. If you're going to carbon wrap something, 3M Deek Knock.
Use that.
What the problem I have is 3M Deek Knock it's supposed to be making dry carbon. All my carbon is wet, it's shiny, it's glossy. And if you put fake carbon next to real carbon,
stick out.
I'll show you what happens.
Yeah.
It sticks out like a sore thumb. So where is my big old...
That's dry, yeah. I want to get the wet dry.
There it is. The wet dry panel here. So this is a piece of carbon from a roof of a particular car. So if I hold them up next to each other underneath this light, here if we move around, you can really see that difference, that depth and the gloss in the real carbon fiber versus that 3M Deek Knock. Totally different. So if you have two of these things in the same car, the fake carbon is going to stick out like a sore thumb next to real carbon. If you have only 3M Deek Knock, 99% of the time, no one's going to tell.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the light reflection, right? Like you can see the whole light in the live wet carbon, but in the wrap, it's absorbed.
So normally, I'm going to flip this panel over and show you. This panel
dull.
has dry carbon on the back of it for structure. Now this is what 3M carbon Deek Knock is imitating.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's very good at it. That's real dry carbon now you're looking at. And if we move around, the weave is a little bit different, and there's a little bit more light reflection on the reel.
It's a lot more similar, though.
But it's very, very close, very similar. So the dry carbon look that 3M's going for is actually really good. And I had considered in the past, I wonder, I'm sure people have tried it. If you clear coat 3M Deek Knock,
would it look like?
Would it get glossy?
I don't know. Should we do it?
I don't know if we should try that. Maybe we should try that. Maybe I'll play with this and
and try to resin it up.
But the other thing about carbon I'll quickly talk about is there's different types of carbon fiber. As you see here, this carbon fiber is very, very small, tiny little squares in the weave, and it's a square weave. So it's basically when the fabric overlaps, it overlaps kind of at right angles. Now another type of carbon fiber I'll show you on this piece is what's called a twill weave. So you'll see on this one, the lines aren't, the lines kind of go like diagonal here. They kind of like go side to side. You see that? So the lines aren't up and down and side to side. They're more like this and crossing each other. This is called a twill weave. Whereas this one, if you look at it, they're all linear. That's why when I move the light around, you can see it's get that shiny squares you see kind of sticking out. Like the lines, see how it's vertical lines on that reflection? Whereas if I move this one around, your light reflection,
you
can see the sideways lines, the diagonal lines. So it's a different style weave. Now, I won't go into details about why you're using different carbon for different types. It's structural. There's very different types of carbon you're using for very different types of loads and purposes. Generally speaking, this piece is purely structural.
From an Indy car, right?
This is from an Indy car. It's a side pod of an Indy car, and it is. I mean,
it's light.
Nothing. It's
like I can hold it with a finger.
I wish I had a scale. I mean, it must be like a couple of grams. It's crazy light.
Yeah, like it's spinning on my finger there.
It's nothing. Yeah, it floats. Like you throw it, it floats for a second. This piece. Now, on the back, this is structural. These bigger weaves you see, and you can see it's got like pinches, and it's bigger here, it's skinnier there. It's not pretty, but that's the structural part. On this side, this is just pretty. That's why they threw this on top. It looks better. And for a production vehicle, that's what everybody cares about. But this car...
For racing, though, you'd want one of the bigger weaves.
Yeah, on this car, they would just... If it was a race car, they would just leave it. You'd see this.
Yeah.
They would just leave that.
Because what's the point of clear coating and all that for a race car?
You don't care. Exactly.
Don't care. Yeah.
The other thing to talk about for structural carbon, I'll just mention it briefly, is that carbon fiber is stronger than steel.
Yeah.
However, there's a caveat to that. Carbon fiber, if I pull it, and push it in plane. So basically, that's the plane surface, right? One plane. If I pull it or push it in plane, it is stronger than steel. If I hooked up a D ring here and a D ring here and start pulling this sucker, it will take more than steel will. However, here comes a caveat. If I go normal to the plane on carbon and basically apply a load like this and try to basically bend it and snap it, it will break very easily. So I can just bend this right now with my hands if I wanted to. Now I would snap this right in half, just crack it. So carbon fiber is good for some things, bad for other things.
Pretty bad for others, yeah.
But when you're talking about something visual and it's purely for looks, well, no problem.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks, I love the look of carbon fiber. I love the depth of it, so we don't have to worry about that.
You're not putting any load on the
No.
intake runners, so.
So let's pull out a sheet of carbon fiber and give you an idea what it looks like raw. All right.
And this is sweet.
Yeah.
I've never seen this before, so it's like.
So this is just a sheet of carbon fiber. So I am basically out of carbon fiber. This is the last.
You can see my hand underneath it.
Nah, maybe not. Oh, actually, no, you could do. You could put your cell phone.
See-through,
Put
yeah.
a light
Oh,
underneath.
that's true.
So it's basically, it's a weed, it's a piece of fabric. Here you go. So I don't know if you can see that little light of his cell phone through there. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You can see that.
So that's just the pure carbon fiber by itself. This is again a 2x2 twill, which is the most common piece of carbon fiber you can buy. And to me, I think it looks the best. I like a twill weave. I think it looks really good. And yeah, this is the end of my roll. That's why you see, this is literally the cardboard roll that was wrapped on it, I pulled off from. And I got this on Amazon fairly cheap.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how much for a roll?
Not too bad. I think I spent like $200 for a lot of carbon.
Like a lot, yeah.
To give you an idea how much carbon, my entire rear diffuser, my side vents, my rear spats, my wing, my everything was done in one roll.
So you've only bought one roll of
roll.
carbon for this car. So
And that's the way, if you're gonna start playing with carbon, buy a big roll, because it's
Yeah.
cheaper if you buy in bulk. So I just bought a big old roll and I've just been running through it ever since and playing with it. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna do today. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the existing part that is out of fiberglass, and what I did was I sanded that part down prior to this. I used about like an 800 grit sandpaper to give it a good surface to bite onto. And we will literally get our carbon to kind of lay in shape and figure out how we want it. And then we're gonna apply the resin in two parts. There's a, I'll get into that in a minute. And then we're just gonna lay it out. And once we laid up and throw the resin on, that'll probably be it for today because it's gonna take time to dry.
to dry and do that, yeah.
I don't know, a live stream of paint drying. I've seen worse live streams.
Hey, yeah,
I've seen worse.
I have seen worse. We could do that.
Oh man, what was the one? There was one that was just absolutely ridiculous. I forget what it was. But yeah.
Can't be worse than, well, for some people, girls sitting in a hot tub doing absolutely nothing. So
Jump up and down for some money. Yeah. Actually, I think you stand on this side, just that with the main
Is it
cam.
better?
Well, actually, you know what we can do? Do you want to walk the main cam closer?
yeah.
Here, let me grab the extension cord for you. So you
Hola.
ready and go. How we can pick it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's awful noise, I'm sure.
No one wants to hear that. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
pretty
better. Yeah, perfect.
Sweet.
Okay, so this part, as you can see, I've already started to lay the carbon in. Now this is, there's no resin here. I basically have been shaping the carbon, so if I kind of lift this out, you'll see what I mean. Underneath here is my part. If I can get it out.
Here, you want to lift it up? I can grab the part.
I got it. I'm just gonna lightly, there we go. It got hung up on a little. So like I mentioned, I did sand it, so the surface is rough, so I think it got hung up on a. So this is the part we're actually gonna be skating today. I've already sanded it down to why it looks a little rough. It's got some nasty patches on it, but I want that because I want the resin as something to bind to.
Yeah,
So it's gonna stick to this nicely with that on there. And all I'm gonna be doing is covering the surface. The back of this you can see is fiberglass. I don't care about that. No one's gonna see that. So I just want to cover the surface nicely, and that's how we do it.
And it's good to use fiberglass, right? Because it's also a woven material.
That's right. Yeah. So textiles. So when we talk about carbon fiber and carbon in general, a lot of people will use carbon Kevlar is one of the popular combos, or carbon and fiberglass is a cheap combo. So if you want to make a very cheap carbon fiber hood, you make a fiberglass hood and then you just skin it in carbon. You basically do exactly what we're doing today.
Yeah.
The structure is fiberglass and you skin it in carbon. So that way from the outside it looks like carbon, but it's a whole lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be very light, though, is the only downside.
And most people buying carbon fiber parts, like a
looks.
wing or like a lip, I mean, it's going to be like ABS plastic, but with carbon fiber skin.
A lot of times, yeah. A lot of times,
I'd assume.
It'll be either fiberglass underneath, like this one is, or it'll be plastic. I mean,
because that's going to be a lot of layers of carbon to have a full, truly carbon part, right? Like,
and it's just the material's more expensive.
I guess you could check with weight. Like, I'm going to order a carbon fiber lip for my M3 at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Just do a little curl and see, is that carbon fiber or not?
It's hard to tell. Like, a lot of times, if they're going to cheap out, they're not going to bother to hide it. They're not going to do like they're not going to do a layer of fiberglass and then wrap it in carbon. Because at that point, they're saving such tiny amounts of money. It's like, you guys, you might as well just do it in all carbon at that point.
So do you think they get like for a lip, for example, is it worth the effort to make it? Like if it's $300 for a lip,
yeah.
Do you think that's all carbon or not?
Probably.
You think so?
I wouldn't buy a carbon lip though.
Yeah, that's
you're gonna ruin that thing.
You're
in a
gonna
week.
rip the shit up.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, Elena's like the lunar surface right now.
So I'm thinking like maybe I just buy an ABS lip
Yeah.
and we skin it.
That's what the factory Porsche. Like I would never get rid of my factory Porsche GT3 lip because it's the really flexible plastic too. It's the I forget what they call it. There's a special name for it.
Not ABS, right?
No, not ABS. It's like Darlin or something. But either way, it's very, very flexible plastic that if I hit a bump, literally every time I pull my driveway, my lip goes whomp and bends underneath and whomp, flops back into shape when I'm done.
Yeah.
But that's what it's meant for. It's like when I see people paint the factory Porsche lips, I'm always like, you kind of ruin the purpose of having the flexible plastic down there. But okay, well let me show you what we got.
Yeah.
So I have this, I've cut out a square of carbon to use, and what I want to do first is where you saw in the beginning, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to try to lay it into place, just roughly first to get my shape, because this has a very deep shape, this side vent. So getting the carbon into shape, I want to do it beforehand and get an idea how it's going to sit in there. So,
because this is going to be your beauty layer, right? Like this.
That's right. Yeah.
We're going to need to do a double layer because, as you can see with my phone, the light shine through. One layer is not going to be enough carbon.
Yeah, and thankfully this is a black part, so if any little squares do shine through, you probably won't notice it.
It's not going to reflect back. Yeah.
But I'll know it's there.
Yeah.
So having 2 layers of carbon really just makes it very, very pure. Yeah, it's going to look great.
So I'm curious, is that wing that you made a mold with carbon skinned, or is that?
The wing is carbon skinned.
Okay.
That's why, actually the back side of it, there's no skin on it. I just have the
Oh, I did notice that. Okay.
The back side is black.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel it. But it's just the carbon skin.
Yeah,
so a lot of times it makes more sense to do carbon skinning because it's just a visual piece.
Right.
But sometimes, on some of my other parts, I challenge myself, especially with the diffuser, because the diffuser would be really heavy if I did anything else but carbon. That's a big piece. Big piece.
We should, my buddy that just got his S2000, we could try to make a wing for him.
Yeah? That'd be intense.
I know.
That's a lot of work.
He'd definitely.
I don't know if that'd be a freebie project.
No, definitely not a freebie project. He would pay for that. He'd be more than happy to. I know he wants a wing for his S2000. He only wants the best, so.
So I basically am just slowly massaging this into place with my fingers and kind of, you'll see the weave's gonna like bunch up in areas where there's tight radiuses because it has to kind of squeeze together to make this tight turn. And it is fitting, so it should work, which is good news, but it is definitely gonna be a challenge because once I get resin on this thing, anytime I touch it, it's gonna wanna pull fibers off with my fingers. So it's really, really, really sketchy. Once I get resin on this thing, I gotta move fast because the hardener is time activated. So I get about 30 minutes to an hour. Realistically, I get about 30 minutes of working time. After that, you just don't touch it because you're just gonna make it worse.
Now, when we do it, are we only gonna lay the first layer on?
No, I'm going to lay the first layer and immediately put the beauty layer on.
Immediately.
I don't have. You don't want to wait because you want all it to be done at the same time. You don't want to do resin, harden it, resin on top. What you want to do is resin. If you have to do that in multiple layers, you should resin, let it harden, sand it so you can grip again.
Ah, I see.
But
then are you gonna cut it after it dries, or?
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll wrap this around. And you'll see it, and there'll be frayed edges everywhere. Mm-hmm. And then what I'll do is I'll come by afterwards and cut it
off.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
And actually, I'll do it more than likely. I usually do it after I do the after I do the resin, so it'll be hard. So I'll actually come back with the cutoff wheel. Mm-hmm. But on this one, because it's just a skinning project, I want to save myself some time later. I probably actually will cut it to shape. So I just about have the shape right now. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah, and I was mentioning this before our technical issues too, is like, I really like that when using real carbon fiber, you see the imperfections and it almost makes it a little more beautiful because it's like unique. Where like, you know, a 3M wrapped piece, it's going to be perfect every year. You're not going to see those little crimps and like weaves compressing. And I think that takes away from like the beauty and uniqueness of carbon fiber.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think there's a cool Japanese principle around this that I like. It's called, I think it's kintsugi. Kintsugi. Basically, what it's saying is there is beauty in something that has been broken and repaired. It's like when you take a pot, for example, and you crack a pot. Kintsugi, you would repair that pot with gold. So you're actually making it more expensive and more valuable after it's been broken. Right. And the reason why they kind of celebrate that is they say that it has a story now. It's not just a perfect little pretty pot. It has, you know, how did it drop? What happened? There's more beauty in the flaw.
Yeah.
And you can apply that and kind of like take that same idea to other things and say that it isn't perfect, but there's a story to it. You know, I could say, oh yeah, this little crimp up here, this little edge down here, that's rough. And I could talk about how it was tough getting this into the radiuses. All my little carbon pieces, I know they're not perfect. I have little spots everywhere.
Yeah.
But that's also how you can look at it and be like, you know, that's real. That has a story to it. He really did make that himself. He didn't go spend $300 online and in a box shows up.
And then, exactly.
It's not perfect.
It's unique.
Exactly. And I think that's what I love about cars. I love the stories. That's why all my cars are modified. That's why I buy interesting, like, you know, quirky cars, because I love the story. Like anybody can write a check.
Yeah.
Anybody can write a check. I mean, that to me is not interesting. I want to see a modified. I want to see somebody make it their own. I want to see somebody's own personality in their build,
in their car. Yeah.
Exactly. And tell me a story. Tell me a story about your car that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear, I walked into a dealership, wrote a $300,000 check and got a new GT2 RS.
Yeah.
Cool story, bro. Don't care. That's great. The only interesting story there is how'd you afford a $3,000 car?
Exactly. I'm like, don't get me wrong. I love a GT2 RS.
I would totally do it. I would modify it myself a little bit.
Yeah.
But the story isn't interesting until it's like your own.
Exactly.
Again, the story at that point isn't the car. It is how you afforded it.
How you afforded it. Exactly. Yeah.
Which also is not a question you ever really want to ask somebody about.
No.
That's always one of those things where it's like, you know, just not to be talked about.
Unless you're good friends.
Yeah, but even then, you should know. Like, it's kind of like that's a touchy subject.
Yeah,
especially I don't know about international, but in the States, that's not usually a subject people get into.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times you drive around in a car, like a nice car in Atlanta, and people are always like,
how'd you get it?
Yeah, what do you do? And I'm just like, I mine Doge.
Or Daniel Mack on TikTok is really popular. So he's the what do you do for a living guy. I don't know if you've seen those videos.
No.
So he'll just pull up to random supercar drivers at meets, at events. He'll be like, hey, what do you do for a living?
That's exactly the question.
He's run into some very interesting people. He's run into celebrities. He's run into, his most recent one was he ran into Lena Paul.
Who?
Lena Paul, the porn star.
Oh.
And she was like, I do adult entertainment or whatever. It was like, oh, there you go.
Cool story. That's
cool story.
That's a good story.
So yeah, it's like those bought supercars, you can still discount the owners for like their stories, you know, of how they made it. But it's not like some of the YouTubers, I won't name them off on live television, but it's like they are trust fund babies and they will be like, I bought a new Lamborghini Huracan, look at me. Yeah. I'm just like, okay, cool.
Anybody can write a check.
Yeah.
And it's funny, a lot of times you'll see the car get modified by the person, and that's, again, it brings your personality out. And
that's neat.
And what happens,
neat.
Well, often you see it with, especially, I won't again name names, is you'll see like, wow, that looks disgusting. You have no taste. You just, like, you ruined that car.
Yeah.
The one that I saw recently, which I think this is totally for publicity, I think, obviously the car could not drive like this.
Yeah.
It's just total, I mean, they're just the biggest attention whores in the world. Can you guess who it is? Who are the biggest, who do you guys think? What is the world's biggest attention whore?
Kardashian.
Boom! There it is.
I think
they,
I saw
They
it, yeah.
wrapped a Lamborghini Urus in fuzzy shag
Yes,
carpet.
I remember
The entire
that.
car.
Oh.
They covered the grills, they covered the wheels, they covered the interior. Basically, it's a total publicity stunt because that car can't drive people.
It's art, man.
If you block your radiator or you block your wheels off,
Yeah.
first of all, the wheels, they would just catch on fire.
Fire, yeah.
I mean, but also if you block a radiator off on a modern car and you try to even just let it idle, that sucker's gonna overheat. It's
Yeah.
like, nope, we're gonna shut down. So purely publicity stunt, and it looks like trash.
You know what the sad thing is,
Just
though?
trash.
That Urus will probably get auctioned off for more money than any other Urus
course,
out there on
of
the
course,
market.
of course.
Because it was Kardashian owned. But yeah, I don't understand art in that sense. I mean,
Comes with free herpes.
there's a degree of respect that I will give for modifying a car.
Any mods, but I mean,
But.
but there are some instances where it's purely for look at me, and those ones I don't give any credit for.
Look at me, look at
Yeah, it's like I have a gold chrome wrapped car with like a red interior and blue wheels
Yeah,
and
yeah, it's
big old
terrible.
stickers and logos everywhere and stuff like that. Like,
terrible.
I mean, you gotta have some style.
I know.
There's gotta be some sort of
yeah.
like some things look good, some things don't.
Just don't.
Speaking of things that don't look good, Nash, if you're watching, a yellow car and gold wheels don't work.
Yeah, just doesn't work.
So I have one of our friends, Nash. He has a 997 Turbo, and beautiful car, but he also has these beautiful gold wheels. Like
They are beautiful
The
wheels.
he have are these beautiful
Great.
three pieces. Just I mean, I love them. But we all joke with him because he has gold wheels and a yellow car, and from like a design standpoint, like the color clashing,
Which is very
it's very
interesting.
bad.
But it's unique, and I respect you for that.
It is. And,
Good for him.
And I don't think he'll get. We'd be like, come on, man, you can just get like gunmetal. Like,
Yeah,
paint them or
gunmetal's
something, or-
sick on that car.
Oh, I
like
know.
gold would go well on like my car or your car or Kyle's pre-wrapped.
Oh, that's a good question. Should I do gold centers on my car? What do
I
you
think so. On gunmetal,
BBS,
gray?
like a light gold, BBS gold.
Like a light, yeah. I always wanted to do gold Ankies on my S2000 because it was black with red.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
would have looked sick. I debated on going gold on the M3, but I think it just looks a little tacky. I'm gonna stick with gunmetal.
Gold and blue can work. I think yours could work, but I think the problem you have is your color pop. Like,
Yeah,
I think
it's like bluish black.
well, you need like cars need some like color to pop them. Like if everything's all black.
Yeah,
not
it gets a little,
It's
yeah.
too much all one color. But your car, your pop is your interior. That cinnamon interior.
That's true,
is
yeah,
pop. I think it's good looking.
It's like a mullet, right? Like business outside, party inside.
There you go.
That's how all my cars are, though. Like my S2000 was like, is just drab black on the outside, but beautiful full red
Johnny
interior.
Tran special.
Johnny Tran, baby.
Oh man, that was a good car.
If only I had $100 grand on the hood of that car. But I do know the owner, so
There you
maybe
go.
one day if Doge goes to the moon, I will come with a checkbook and buy it back from him. So.
And so now we talked about the trimming of the car. I'm going to just kind of take off some of the edges and try to take some extra work out of my post.
It'll be hard to snip that off when it's all.
Once it's resin, you have to come back with
Sticky
a
and
cutoff
dry,
wheel.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's solid. It becomes
Oh.
like a rock. So you have to actually come back with a cutoff wheel.
And just.
And it sucks because there's nothing worse than cutting carbon. I mean, you itch for days. I mean, I'm already gonna itch now. I can already feel it. I'm trying not to touch my face, my hands, because I probably have very light dusting of carbon on me already. And
yeah.
anytime I scratch, it's gonna basically embed.
It's gonna scratch it even more.
Another trick with carbon is always take a cold shower after you play with carbon. Always take a cold shower.
Yeah.
Because if you take a warm shower, your pores open up.
Oh, and carbon gets.
And there are little tiny hairs of carbon all over me right now. That's just comes with playing and working with raw carbon. I am covered in little hairs of carbon. It's like anybody that works with insulation.
Don't you want to be like more carbon? Don't you want to be the carbon fiber man?
I mean, humans are mostly carbon anyways, right?
That's
We're like
true.
water and
Yeah,
carbon.
that's true.
Carbon life forms over here.
Coming full circle now. Be carbon man.
Carbon man.
All right.
Race
look at
cars
that.
by day and itchy by night. I
Itch
guess?
by night.
That's the Kardashians' MO.
Erase
Social
the-
media by day, itchy by night.
So why'd you cut like that? So
Because
it
like
can
this little
wrap?
section, so I can fold it like that.
Ah, smart.
That little edge is gonna be rough. That little edge down there, it's gonna be probably a little rough.
Got it.
I
Got it.
can already tell.
But it's looking beautiful.
I think it'll come out nicely.
Beauty layer's looking good.
So what I'm gonna do now is I have this base plate here. I'm gonna try to keep the shape and let it sit in here. And then when I need it, I'm just gonna, hopefully, come out nicely. Come out nice. Stretch it a little bit there. There we go. And we're just gonna pop it in here. So that way I can hopefully keep my shape, and we're just gonna set that,
drop
yeah, just
that
gonna set that
down.
to the side. So the other piece I'm gonna do, these are just gonna be my base layer. This does not have to be pretty at all. This one I'm just gonna basically plop in here and get it, just boom, force it in, get it in real quick. So I'm just gonna line this up lightly. That's about fine. So you can see I'm not even fucking, I'm not even,
Nah, it
I'll
doesn't.
just manhandle
It
this.
doesn't matter if the weaves get frayed or anything. It's gonna be
Yeah,
the
and I'm
bottom.
not even gonna cover all the edges completely here. Because there's gonna be sections where it's not even gonna fix. Like right here, I'm gonna get a gap. It's fine. I'm gonna get over there, in there. The biggest part of this is not getting it, in there, get in there.
So do you have to take a cutting wheel to cut that hole out?
Yeah, there's no way around that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to get
Fair
around
enough.
that. I wish, but no joy. It'll be easy to cut that little square out.
Yeah. See that?
So what I'll do is this little section here, I don't have it, so I'm just gonna basically put another piece right there. So this looks good. I'm gonna trim this back. That looks okay. Take this whole, let's cut from here.
Trying to think of things that we could make out of carbon fiber now, because the 3D printer that I have can use Kevlar filament. Technically.
I mean, you could do an ABS backed part, no problem.
Yeah. That
Skinning
too.
an ABS part is
Skinning
just as
ABS.
easy as
You just
skinning
sand the
this.
shit out
It's
of
fine.
it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to
The
think.
tricky part with carbon is you don't want to skin something that's flexible,
Right.
because then you'll have
Right.
problems.
And you want to avoid skinning parts with a lot of curves and shit, right?
Yeah, it just gets harder. Sharp edges are really tough, like 90-degree angles are really tough.
It's like emblems would probably be pretty easy.
Could be. The M of an M.
Depending on the
yeah,
emblem,
the M logo
yeah.
is a little rough, because that one's got
M
some sharp
logo's
edges
got
on
some
it.
sharp, yeah.
Cut that out. Looks okay. I can wrap that. I can wrap that. Maybe take a little bit. The other thing I'm gonna do here is to make these edges nice. I'm just gonna cut
So it can
so I can
stick
basically
nice
fold it
and
everywhere I
well,
want
yeah.
to. So now my radius won't pinch or bend or anything. Just kind of go right into it.
Neat.
Then around. Over there. Cut one.
Ah, I see, yeah, there's no lip on that at all.
Yeah. So this is not the pretty layer, and it will not be pretty.
Yeah, it still looks kind of pretty.
It'll be all right. It won't be show quality. So that way.
Fair enough.
And this might be the piece I use over there. Actually, let's see.
Over where?
Let's see. Go this way.
Oh, on that. Oh, that's, yeah.
And I'll grab this one.
No.
Big piece here.
Oh, because you still want it to wrap around. Yeah, I get that.
There we go.
I love how the weaves manipulate when you cut. You have to like hold it straight.
Oh yeah. So we'll have a little piece of actually move that, and we'll cut that out.
Cut the,
The,
end.
Yeah, this is actually a small little stream of Kevlar at the end of carbon.
Ah.
Put together, but it might show through the weave if I leave it in there. So
Yeah,
let's take it out.
green.
It's yellow.
Or yellow, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now at this point, this is actually in place, and I'll probably leave this because I can apply the resin directly to this.
So do the little frays and weaves matter, like this stuff?
Not for the beauty layer. No, sorry, not for this layer, but the beauty layer, yes.
Yeah. Kind of curious to like play with one of these.
Oh yeah, you can just pull it apart. You can take one of those sections there to cut too and play with it if you want.
Damn, that's carbon. Now I just want to go crazy wrapping shit in carbon.
That's what I did. That was my quarantine thing. That's why I started doing the rear diffuser from.
Oh yeah.
Let's see if
sure.
we were talking about carbon. It's like if I when it's loose, there's tons of like little frayed.
Yeah,
if
you
I
just
just
kinda,
pull
like,
this,
fuck around
watch
with
what
it,
happens.
yeah.
Just falls apart.
Nuts. Wow. Yeah, it's literally just lines of. That's so
That's it.
cool.
Pure carbon.
So cool.
That will work. That should work.
Yeah, you can really see through that, the hole down there.
That'll work. Okay, we are about ready. Yeah, I think we're ready to do some resin. So let's talk resin.
Does the garage need to be open for this or no?
Yeah, when we actually go to start mixing it, I'm going to bring it out first.
Oh, we need to mix. Okay, I see. Right. Neat.
We want to try to clean this as best we
Yeah.
can. Be careful when you scoop it. Try not to not like push.
Oh,
You don't wanna-
yeah.
Try to limit your itching.
I see the little hairs.
Yeah, they're everywhere. We usually get the big pieces out, so that way when we do it, it won't totally get everywhere. Okay. All right. So let's talk the resin. So this is what we get from the store. This is Total Boat. This is who I get my resin from. Make some good stuff. I guess I'll come back on this side of the table. Make it more like presenting like.
Yeah. So,
What's in the box? First things in the box. This is the resin itself. Part 1. Part 2, the hardener.
oh, I see. So you have to mix those two.
Yes. So it's a 2-part system, resin and a hardener. And you can see on here, it actually says it's epoxy resin 5-to-1 ratio. So it's 5 parts resin to 1 part hardener. And if you change the ratio of this, you can totally screw it up. So you can get something that is hardens way too fast.
Gotcha.
I got carbon on my nose,
Oh
I
no.
If you do make too much hardener, it'll harden too fast and you ruin it. If you do too little, it'll never harden and just be like gummy and disgusting and it never works. So you always got to get the ratio right. Always have a good ratio there. What else in the box? Little buckets, little measuring buckets. It's nice. And you have like little ratios here. The good thing is, this one should have come with, well, oh, they didn't. Those. Really? Darn. They were supposed to come. What?
What are you getting?
They were supposed to have the pumps.
Oh, that would have been easier. Yeah.
Ah, darn. Okay, well, we can measure it out on the side here. So
Yeah.
now these are mine. I like to actually use these little gloves, these throwaways, because those little thin gloves, the tiny ones,
They'll
tear
rip.
very
Yeah,
easily,
they'll
and
tear.
the carbon will cut it surprisingly well. Also, these go up a little higher, so it kind of gives you more shielding.
itch, yeah.
But keep in mind, any glove you use for this, you will throw away afterwards.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
All right, so it's a 5-to-1 ratio. So that means on here, we can see the little thing. Look at that. There you go, right there. It's that one there. It's 5-to-1. So then what we're going to look at is our different parts. So basically what we're going to try to do is if I fill to 6 here, 5 parts, basically, this is my, one side is going to be my resin, the other side is my hardener.
That's your hardener. Yeah.
So if I fill to number 6, I then fill to number 6 on this side. Like basically, I fill it up to 6 with resin.
Yep.
And then I add that much more to get my hardener.
To
So
get
that's
the
my
hardener,
5-to-1
yep.
ratio. So that's what it's showing. So if I go down here to 1-to-1, you'll see if I add 1, 2, 2 is how it's showing it. So actually, this one's doing hardener first. Is how it's doing it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because you had the little one.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Well,
if I
I
get
guess
2,
the 5-to-1's easier.
2. Let's see, 1. Make sure it's 1. Yep, it's right. So yeah, 5-to-1 looks like that.
Yep.
So a lot more resin than we're gonna have. I do think I might have. I have my old resin actually here for my last time I was playing because resin I always tend to end with a little bit more resin. So I do have this pump,
And that, yeah, you can just.
but I don't have my hardener still. I think my hardener pump is gone. That's rather annoying. They were supposed to give me pumps to make my life easier. No, I don't think I have the pumps. No, I don't. I'll use the new one. I mean, I guess it's fine.
We can just pour it, right?
Yeah. I'm curious to see if it actually has this in here. It's supposed to have it in here. Pretty sure the kit I bought was supposed to be with pumps. Oh well.
Okay, I'm gonna do a quick Twitch check.
Yeah, let me make sure we're still working right before we get in more. Hopefully you don't lose it again. Sounds good? I'm curious to see if it actually has it. Ah, there we go. Sounds good.
Looks good too.
Okay. The kit I bought. Alright, so how do I want to do it? How much do I need? That's the other thing too, so I probably don't need as much as I think I need, usually.
You gonna do 5 to 1 or?
Well, I have to do 5 to 1 because it's
Well,
ratio.
yeah, but I'm saying like, are you gonna go full 5?
no, there's no way I need that much.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how much I actually really need.
Maybe just up to 3.
I'm thinking even 1 or 2.
Oh wow.
Maybe 2. Because I can always mix more. I'm thinking 2. Because you'll be surprised how little this actually takes.
Yeah, I'm curious to see.
I think I'll do 2. That way I have a little extra. I mean, I have tons of fucking resin, so I might as well.
Yeah.
All right, so this stuff is not really that toxic. It's not really that bad. I'm gonna wear a respirator because it's probably just best practice. We're gonna open the garage and open a window to get some airflow in to keep that. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get that garage popped and
Should
let's get
stand
pumping.
outside for that.
You'll be fine. I mean, if you want, you can. I have more masks, but honestly, it's not that big a deal. This stuff isn't that bad.
Yeah, I guess I'm not too worried.
I'll pop a window too, if I can. Here we go. Just in time for the helicopter.
Nice.
So the thing about resin, I guess the only problem we have now is now you can't see me because I'm all dark. But I guess this is our main
we could
cam.
see the surface, yeah. At the very least.
So the thing is, once we pour the resin, that's it. Time is only, we are not, there's no going back. It is begun. And once I put resin on this part, that's it. What you have is what you have. You screw up, too bad.
So you put resin on, you need to lay that down, and then you need to put that right over it, and then more resin? Okay.
So I'm gonna leave this in here, lay resin right on that. And then on top of that, I'll put my beauty layer and put resin on top of that. And then we let it dry. And I need my little, here we go. This is what I like to
okay.
use to apply the resin.
Yeah, I was gonna
Foam
ask how's
applicator
that
brushes.
Yeah.
Just gonna brush it on there. Get a couple of these out.
Yeah, do you want me to put a or like I probably shouldn't touch it or? I don't know.
No, it's only one pair of gloves. I wouldn't.
Oh, okay.
And honestly, this thing it's so. Once you get into it, it's so like.
Probably so fast.
It's
yeah.
so it's very intense. Like, I'm not even going to talk through the process, guys. I'm going to move quickly because in my previous stuff I've done with carbon, I've had problems where I've taken too long and played with it and tried to like, oh crap, I screwed up. Let me pull it out and start again. No.
Will I be safe here? I can just watch it on the stream.
Yeah.
Sweet.
No. Like I said, this stuff is. I mean, I think it even tells you on the back. You can look up the MS.
Safety
MSDS
information.
on it.
Yeah.
But. What does it say?
Oh, your record tire pressure is a little low on the left side.
Is it?
Is that
I
right?
don't know. It does sag a little bit. I mean, you got to think those are big ass tires.
Yeah, when you jacked it up, the like tires flexed a little, and I'm like, never had this thick of tires actually, so I guess that's normal.
Yeah, I mean, it does say using a well-ventilated area and protective gloves, clothing, eye and face protection. It does say it's harmful if inhaled, but it doesn't actually say during precautionary prevention. So I think it's one of those things where it has, and even on the back, the MSDS, these little labels back here, these two little warnings. Look at that really close. So the MSDS is material safety data sheets. So every chemical in the U.S. has to basically have an MSDS attached to it to tell you what about it is harmful, what is dangerous. So this MSDS about this one here, there's two little exclamation points here. The one on the left is talking about it's harmful to the environment, so yeah, don't pour this down a freaking drain or out in their backyard.
Yeah.
And this is just a general hazard. It's not like just a general exclamation, like warning. This could potentially be bad.
Could be hazardous. Yeah.
And what is bad about this stuff? I mean, yeah, if you're drinking this, if it's like
Tide Pod challenge.
gosh, this will kill you. I've got this. I mean, I've got it on my skin before. It washes off. Actually, it washes off pretty easily.
Okay.
And it's not too bad. It does have a smell to it. It's probably not great to inhale, and you definitely want to watch out. See this one. Here you go. The hardener has a lot more.
I bet the hardener is the fucked up one. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So there's the harmful if
respiratory.
inhaled. That's
yeah.
the one. That one's like a little person's lungs.
General environment, and what's the second one?
That one is chemical burn. So yes, that's the other thing about this. I will say is, I've gotten this wrong one time and mixed too much hardener into the resin, and it got so hot it melted this plastic container.
Seriously?
It melted the plastic and it poured out onto the surface.
Wow.
So that's because it's a exothermic reaction.
Right. Yeah. To harden up.
Yeah. Yeah. This one. So this is the dangerous. This resin's not bad. The hardener is the dangerous stuff. And
very neat. Very neat.
Let's see if this one says as far as. Yep. Do not eat or drink or smoke. Okay, great. Well ventilated area.
Shit,
yep.
I was planning on smoking that.
I know, right?
Cool. That doesn't.
Yeah, and this one even says, if inhaled, it just says move to a fresh area. So.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. This particular Total Boat stuff is good stuff. I like to use it because I think when I first researched what resin to use, this one and some of the other carbon-specific ones are the ones that popped up as like, these ones are a little bit better. They don't have certain of the nasty chemicals in it, and this is what you want to go. But I have a well-ventilated area. The garage is wide open. There's a window on the other side of the garage that's blowing fresh air through. Like I can feel a breeze.
I can feel it. Yeah.
But I am also going to be wearing this 3M ventilator masks. So I just have the 6001 basic cartridges, and then these P95 filters on the end. So this will be enough to work with these things in this tight of an environment. I am standing on top of this, breathing in, so it's a bit more risky. Aditya, you'll be.
I'm sitting down, yeah, because if it's volatile and exothermic, it'll go up and out. So.
You might smell it, but all you have to do is you can just stand out there if you really want to.
Yeah, if it really hits me, we'll see.
All right, so I'm gonna pop this on. I'm bad.
They never cared until I put on the, what's the quote? Nobody asked my name.
Nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask.
Put on the mask. There you go.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I think you can't hear any of this. Good. Let's see. I'll do a. Ready? Okay.
Yeah, you can hear.
I'm Bane. Yes, that's my name. If you don't know Bane, make me the great say 'cause I'm Bane. Yes. All right. Anyways, that was fun. Got that.
Get that resin.
Get that resin.
Very neat. I'm really.
Now, if I was doing something that was a bit more bigger, involved, like when I did my rear diffuser, I did wear eye protection as well, because you don't want to get anything in your eyes. But because what I'm doing is very small, there's my straps. Get a little tighter. Because what I'm doing is very small, my splash risk is, next to nothing here. So, and this stuff's really thick. It doesn't really, fly around too much. Okay, so, all right, we'll use the new stuff. I need to get a little.
Oh, to poke it out?
Yeah, I can't. I think I can't grab it. It's going to get a little needle nose here.
Oh man, I do feel slight itchiness on my hand now.
Yeah. Yeah, screw it, can poke it. Alright, so I want to fill to 2, I think. It is. That's it. And a little over, so I'll just go a little over on the hardener.
Nice and clear. Does that have the same little...
All right, clock starts now.
Oh boy.
That's it. Doesn't take much. It's a little over 2. Yep. Okay.
Then what? You
Now
mix
the next
it?
thing I want to do is I need to mix it. So that's what these little guys are for. Just gonna give it a nice little mix around. I don't want to like really power it because I'll actually aerate it. So I want to just give it a nice little mix. The other thing I learned doing this a lot is I want to let it sit for a minute.
Can you show the mixture to the camera?
Yeah, even though it's kind of
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's just clear. Interesting.
But yeah, I want to do this and kind of let it sit a little bit so I actually get some of the bubbles out if it sits for a little while. So get it nice and mixed, really scrape those edges, get that around there. Can you smell it over there?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Not that much though.
Not too bad.
Yeah, I figure the breeze is gonna push it out that way.
Yeah, I can still feel a good breeze, and
Yeah.
like I said, this stuff isn't too bad. Now, what I did do, and I hate to admit, is there's a product called 2K Clear out there, Clear Coat. It comes in a spray can. You can buy it all sorts of places. And when I was first researching my carbon stuff, I'm like, wow, this stuff's really, really good. It's got great ratings. It's like UV resistant. It's like super hard. It seems like the perfect clear coat. And it is a very good clear coat. However, what was really annoying is they don't tell you how dangerous that stuff is. There's no, like online, it doesn't make clear how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
So I've used that in the past, and that's actually why I bought this respirator in the beginning, was for that stuff.
For that stuff, yeah.
There's something called, was it Isofate or something in that? And it's extremely, like this stuff is not that bad. Those Isofates and that 2K Clear, really bad. And I wish I would have known, so anybody out there who's watching DIY stuff, a product called 2K Clear, it's not worth it. It's just don't, I did it and I got lucky, basically. I wore a respirator, I was fully gloved, I was ventilated, I got lucky, and I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
If you need to do a good clear, go pay a professional to get it sprayed at a paint shop and let them do it. 2K Clear, in my opinion, should not be sold to individuals. I think it's too dangerous.
There's a lot of products like that, and I think that goes to show, especially in the DIY space, when you're working with chemicals, do your research. Like a lot of chemicals, you'd be surprised at how fast and easily they are allowed to be sold to the general public without proper instruction on how to, you know, even like use them, but like dispose of them or anything. Like it's really bad. But
yeah, that was I'm glad that I'm so far, knock on wood, I'm okay.
yeah.
I hope there's no long-term effects that haunt me later. But at least when I did it, I was using this respirator, brand new respirator, fully gloved up and freshly ventilated area. But I shouldn't have done it. I really would recommend anybody against buying 2K Clear. It's just not worth it. It's not worth lung problems for the rest of your life.
On the rest, yeah.
Go spend a few $100s to a paint shop. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit. There's some bubbles in there, but I'm gonna start getting on. Basically, let me see. There's some warmth right now.
Really, already?
Getting a little bit of warmth, so that's good.
Neat.
So I dip my foam in here, and just give it a little brush. Let me start up here.
Huh, that's very cool.
It's literally just gonna drip in there. It's gonna seep through that. That's the other thing about carbon is you know how it has holes, right?
It'll drip through
But
it.
it's gonna drip through.
Interesting.
I will come back here and press it on. I'm just trying to get resin on the part right now is what I'm trying to do. Trying to load it up with some resin. Keep checking the temperature. Because if it starts getting too hot, I put too much hardener in there. And if I start it feeling to overheat, I'm going to immediately move this thing somewhere safe before it melts the plastic, because I did do that before. I learned that lesson. And I'm also going to immediately, when I'm doing the part, quickly get into a spot where it's not going to fuck up the part completely, or rip this off and take the whole carbon out, which, because I'm not doing the beauty layer, I would do that. I'll just rip this whole thing out and throw it away. So that's why I just kind of keep checking the temperature and make sure I didn't screw anything up, because, hey, you know, mistakes happen. Although I'm pretty sure I followed the ratio right. Usually the pumps that come with the bottles are super easy. It's just one pump here, one pump there, one pump here, one pump there. So going heavy on this base layer is going to help me later on, because then when I get the beauty part on, I can just press, and all this resin I'm loading up now will just seep through both parts.
It's on, yeah. Yeah, I can see it like already forming to the shape a little bit.
It's getting heavier, it's going to start sticking, and then the resin's going to just do its job.
Yeah, I'd never realized how much of a woven fabric carbon fiber really is.
Oh yeah, big time.
Very neat.
Get a lot in this corner, because that corner's going to be a tricky spot, so I want to really load it up there, get it nice and sticky. We're getting there. So I'm getting to the point now where I'm actually going to come back to my hands and start applying. So Ditya, I may use you when I go for the beauty layer to hand me the beauty layer.
Yep, I got you.
Okay, so at this point, now I'm going to start actually take my hands and start folding this in and trying to get this stick for me. The resin, it's not quite hard enough yet. So as my hardener gets more hardens, it'll stick better. So right now it's very much just like a liquid, so it's actually not sticking at all. It's making this process a little more of a pain. But it's starting to get there. It's getting a little sticky. But as time goes, as that clock ticks, it'll just get more and more sticky, and eventually I'll hit the point where it is going to be impossible to touch this thing without destroying it. Now, what I consider doing this one, I want to try without it. Usually with carbon fiber, you want to vacuum or autoclave the part afterwards.
Yeah, I was going to ask how that works.
It makes a tight seal, but I'm skinning, so I'm going to try to get away with doing it this way. But I've done it before. I've actually taken literally a plastic bag, put it in the part in it, and put a vacuum to it, and suck the air out.
Huh.
It's kind of a cheap way to do a vacuum bag. It does work. It's not the best, but it does work.
Interesting. Would the plastic bag like stick to the resin, or?
Not really. It peels off pretty well.
Okay.
Plastic, that's why I have my worktop here covered in a bit of plastic tarp, because plastic basically just separates pretty nicely from it.
Separates from it, yeah.
Any really smooth surface, that's why like a gel coat is basically just a polished, super smooth, waxed surface. That's why if you're doing a mold, you'll use a gel coat, which is a really smooth surface, and then on that you'll use a wax, like literally like you wax your car, you wax the mold, and then you'll actually, on top of that, use a thing called mold release, which is like a water-soluble release. That makes it even easier to take it off. So the carbon is not wanting to stick around those really tight radiuses.
So is it getting stickier now, or?
It's not really getting stickier yet. But what I'm saying is it's not wanting to, these parts aren't here, aren't wanting to stay in. They're not wanting to, because this is a really, really tight radius.
Yeah,
and it's not wanting to stay on there. But I can just come back and trim that. I think is what I'll do. Okay, I'm just going to let it get stickier before I go with the beauty layer. I'm going to keep massaging this around. So I want to make sure it's nice and pushed through all the way so it's covered nice and evenly. And the resin's pushed through, there's no air pockets behind it. So that's one of the downsides about doing skinning versus like a vacuum, is a vacuum will suck the carbon to the part. Whereas here, I literally have to use my fingers and push and make sure there's no air bubbles under here, and make sure that it's sitting on the part like it should. But, like I said, because it's a skinning, it's not a structural piece, I can get away with this. If this was a structural piece, I would need to really do this in a vacuum bag method. to make sure I had no bubbles in my part and do it correctly. But this is a good kind of DIY project, something that you can do at home to play with some carbon fiber parts. So
It's neat.
it's just visual. It's not structural. No worries. Okay. Yeah.
That top scoop that you're working on right now looks beautiful.
Right here.
Yep.
Thank you. It's getting there. It's starting to get stickier now. I'm starting to feel it. So I'm actually getting stuck in my radiuses back here now.
That's good. I guess the parts without the lip, it's hard to stick, right? That's what it's a little.
Yeah, there's nothing back there to really stick
Nothing
on.
to
It's just basically an
catch.
edge.
Yeah.
So I may just have to come back and trim it with a cutoff wheel. It doesn't want to hang out right here. Basically, that's how it should sit.
Yeah.
It just keeps coming up on me.
So what's the solution? You just add more resin, or you?
I can wait till it gets stickier, and that's what I'm trying to do now.
Oh, and then
hold
just
it back here.
peel it on. Yeah.
And just hope that the resin acts as a glue.
Sticks it
just
in.
holds
Yeah.
it. Now there is another way you can do this. Some people use like a 3M spray glue first to get these really tight radiuses and to get this stick in the corners. I could have done that. I did consider, but when I was playing with this by hand, it didn't seem too bad. I guess this edge didn't really stick out as a problem, but it is kind of a problem.
Now I can smell it a little bit.
So yeah, it's, the hardener's starting to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I probably smell it more now. I can definitely feel the stickiness increasing here.
Kind of smells like pool chlorine a little bit.
Yeah, I would say if the smell is strong, then just stand outside.
Yeah, no, I just got a light whiff. I think it's because your glove.
Just the breeze flew the other way.
Yeah.
Okay. I can kind of test the stickiness of my fingers here. It's not quite ready for this. The other thing you should watch out when you're doing this on any surface, watch the resin drips. They'll run everywhere.
Oh,
Someone
yeah,
uses this as
that's
like a little
good
barrier.
point.
Keep it from dripping down. I will say though, if this stuff gets on concrete, you come back later with the chisel and just tuck, tuck, and it pops right up.
Pop it off, yeah.
So cleanup's not too bad. But I got on a wood surface, ooh man, I don't think I really come out of that. Yeah, I think I'm just not going to go for those edges. I don't think I'm going to get them. So I might
It's
just,
looking good though, at least from this far away.
yeah. I think if I would go backwards at this point, I would probably just do a 3M spray glue.
Yeah, stick on.
So I can get all my edges wrapped around perfectly, but too late. So now we're just going to do it this way. So I'll just have to come back with the edges later. The downside is going to be having to come back with a Sawzall, basically, or not a Sawzall, a Dremel, and just trim.
Trim it off, yeah.
Yep. But on these main surfaces, it's sticking very nicely, so that's good. I'd say at this point, we're going to go for the beauty layer.
You want me to hand it to you?
Yeah, I think we're ready to drop it in.
Okay.
So there's already a lot of resin on this, but what I'll do is I'm just going to go ahead and drizzle just a little bit more. Oh yeah, I can feel the heat in this container right now. Oh boy. Big heat. Not going to melt the plastic heat, but it is. I'm feeling it in my hand. It's cooking.
Oh, I feel the carbon fiber in my fingertips.
Oh, that's a great one, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel
All right, here, bring it over here.
Okay.
All right, baby. Here we go. Come on, baby. In you go. Go nicely. Go nicely. Go nicely. Go nicely.
Ooh.
Must go quickly. Must go quickly.
Ooh, that looks sweet.
Come on, come on, come on. Oh, I think we got lucky. I think it's okay. It's always dangerous with this layer, because this layer is like, you screw it up,
You're done.
it's going to look ugly. So now what I do is if I just press, all that resin from that first coat is going to squeeze through to this coat.
Wait, so were these mirror caps made?
Those mirror caps came with the car. I didn't make those.
Okay,
Yeah, somebody made those. Nicely done, though.
Very nicely done.
I did refinish them. That was actually when I did the 2K clear on those.
Yeah, I can see where they peeled the carbon and. Interesting.
I will say, playing with carbon, it gives you a respect when you look at carbon out in the wild on cars.
Wild, yeah.
You can see the quality just by looking at knowing the tight radiuses and getting into it.
Yeah.
You can really see how they did it, and how good it was, or how bad it was.
Good.
And the type of carbon they use, like you learn a lot about it just playing with the stuff, and you get a really good respect for it, I would say. There really is an art to this kind of stuff, and I am not an artist, so.
Pretty good though.
There's a cool company there called actually Carbon Leidelschaft. It's a German company. A friend of mine owns it. They do very, very high-end carbon fiber parts. The kind of stuff like you see on Pagani Zondas, where like all the weave is in a line.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like color weaves here, like some crazy beautiful. So they do like Lamborghinis and
That's
super
nuts.
high-end
Jeez.
parts. Very beautiful. But
Carbon Leidenschaft?
Leidelschaft, yeah.
I think I saw them on Instagram.
Yeah. It's you know Marat. Have you met Marat?
Who?
Marat? No, maybe not.
Don't think so.
He has he actually works for Porsche as well.
Oh.
He works for Porsche Digital, I believe, and he has a 997S,
Nice.
with a big old duckbill on it, GT3 front, same color as mine.
Yeah.
It's like my car is a 911,
Nice.
but cool guy. And yeah, so here's what he does with that Carbon Leidelschaft. I can't really pronounce it very well. Oh yeah, this beauty layer is beautiful.
Man,
Looking
it
right.
looks so good.
And then
looks
what we'll do
really
is we'll
good.
trim it afterwards. And what I'll do, everybody, is because we're not going to wait and watch you let this dry in the live stream, because I'll literally let this sit overnight.
Yeah.
But what I will do is I'll post up some more photos on Instagram and show you the progress that's being made on this, so you can kind of keep tabs on it and see how it's going.
Wait, so we're basically done now?
I'm going to put another layer of
resin?
on top, but yeah,
That's fast. That's really fast.
it's pretty much it. Now
So-
we just let the chemical do its job and harden.
In theory, if I wanted to do my mirrors,
Yeah, mirrors are an easy piece because it's very smooth. Like I said,
yeah,
what makes things challenging is radiuses.
those radiuses,
Yeah,
yeah.
tight radiuses are the hard parts. Complex shapes, sharp edges.
Take a look at those mirrors.
So mirrors usually are just very smooth little pieces. They actually get pretty well with carbon.
Yeah. Dang. I'm gonna. So, like, as a first time carbon person,
Yeah,
'cause I want to try this.
Yeah, I think as a first time piece, mirrors are a great way to start.
All right. Maybe I'll do that, and then maybe make my own lip. Just get like a ABS mold of the M3 lip.
Oh boy, this is getting really
Hot.
hot. Oh yeah. This might melt. I'm gonna get this out of the bucket very quickly now. Gonna load this up.
Oh boy.
Okay. I'm gonna try not to resin
Let
all
it
over my
drip on your
table.
concrete, yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, it's easy to clean up, but I don't want to clean up. I
Don't
fucking
necessarily
have to.
want to, yeah.
Yeah, it's very hot now, so it's very close to its final hardness.
And then do you sand it after the resin? Like, what does that process look like?
Yeah, like I'll sand and polish it afterwards. Oh, actually,
Oh, I smell that.
my noses. I don't want it in there like that. It's pooling up. It's not coming out like I thought it would. I'll scoop it out like this.
Yeah, that is a very strong
Smell?
smell.
Yeah, because I just basically dumped all the resin out at once, so now you
Yeah.
can get really strong.
All out in the
Sitting
air.
right now.
Shift knob would be a nice and easy one.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Just a cylinder.
Yep. The although shift knobs are pretty tight radius, it might be trickier than you think.
Yeah. Because it's a narrow cylinder. Well, yeah.
This hardener is kicking in now. I would stand out there for now. It's really kicking. The heat is basically crazy now. It's now hit its sort of final form. I'm actually trying to scoop some of this resin out of the center because it's just gonna make my cutting more of a mess. Make it harder to cut because it's thicker. I'm just going to try to scoop out as much of this in the center as I can here. Kind of pooling. Alright, I'm getting there. So that's a probably decent amount of that out of there. So now what I want to do is I just want to try to run over it one more time with my hands, and then I'm just going to try to let it go. Let's see how it does. It's not too sticky to touch. No, it's getting real sticky. Yeah, my fingers are not stick together.
Your fingers are what?
Starting to stick together.
Even with the gloves.
Yeah. We're basically reaching the end of its work phase. Basically, probably need to stop touching it, but I'm just going to try a little bit more. Try to get this to get some tight edges here. Oh, yeah, it's starting to come apart in my hands now.
Dang, yeah, I really want to do those mirrors. I'm going to look up how to disassemble an M3 mirror today.
There you go.
And then see.
Oh boy. Damn. Getting super sticky now. You can probably see it, and when I'm working with it, it just doesn't want to come loose. I'm going to try to get these edges to stick down now. Gotcha. Damn. Not ideal. Probably should have done a spray glue because it's not sticking nicely now. I can't get these edges to stay down for me. That one stayed. This is where the vacuum would have been handy. This would have vacuum bagged this and been done.
Yeah, now I'm like looking under the wing and everything. It's very neat. Now that I like know how this works.
Yeah, it gives you like a newfound appreciation for like how it all works together.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. The mirror would be really easy to just put in a plastic bag and vacuum out.
Should be. Yeah, I should have either sprayed this one or vacuum bagged it, honestly, because it's not wanting to stick in these radiuses. It keeps wanting to lift up on me. So it's trying to get it massaged so it doesn't, as it gets really sticky now. Now it's basically glue, so if I can get it to stick, it should stay. But downside of it being like glue is it also won't stick to me. So when I try to lift my finger back.
Your finger stuck in there.
Exactly. So when I lift my finger back out, it pulls it right back off again.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is very, at this point, very, very sticky. It's like reaching your hand into molasses is what it kind of feels like. If you stick your hand into a honey jar, that's about the consistency that I'm playing with right now.
Looks like, yeah.
Just gets everything on me covered. So I'm hoping I have the beauty pieces at least stuck. I come back and cut, and visually you won't see the edges. It's not wrapped around, so it won't stay wrapped around, but I'm hoping
cut it off,
I can
right?
just cut off and you won't see the backside at all if I cut it right on the edge. As long as I stick right to the visual surfaces and I'm on that, it should be fine. Which I think I am. So the other thing that could happen here is it's a really bad bond, and it basically wants to pop off. Like the skin just kind of wants to pop off, which wouldn't be that big a deal because then I'll just basically put glue down and put it back
Pop
in.
it back in,
It'll be a
yeah.
perfect mold. But as long as I get a perfect mold, that's what I'm trying to keep forming this because I want it to stick nicely to the visual surfaces.
Keep getting random whiffs of it.
The breeze just takes it.
This is a nice breeze, though.
Oh, it feels great. After all those days of heat, it's finally nice out.
Yeah.
Come on, Carbon. Work with me here. It looks like it's, I think we're gonna get it. I think I can. Now it's, at this point, it's so sticky I can just stick it to places and it's mostly staying. That's what I'm trying to just get some last little touches in. Well, at this point it's so sticky I don't want to touch anything on the surface, so if I fuck up any of the surface stuff, I'm probably just gonna ruin it. I'm trying to get these edges, let's push these edges on, let it keep just sticking to the part. But, man, it's so sticky. I'll use this guy maybe. Clean surface. Oh, that's working well. Yeah, cutting this will be lots of fun.
What?
I said cutting this will be lots of fun.
Cutting.
Sucks to cut so much.
Yeah. Do you have a Dremel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'll do. I'll get some more cut-off wheels to the Dremel and just cut it.
And then, yeah.
I'm running out of workability here.
So all the resin's poured out, right?
Yep. Yeah. At this point, what's out is out. It's going
At
to
this point, you're just trying to glue up all the little edges, right?
Trying to. It's not wanting to stay with me very well here, but my gloves are so sticky at this point. I'm trying to use this little piece of wood instead.
Oh yeah.
So once this wood gets so sticky, it's going to do the same problem. It's going to end up pulling.
Yeah, it's just gonna.
That surface looks okay. So the other thing about this, once it dries, I'll come back and I'll probably do a polish on it, like a little bit of like a rough sand, like a 2000 grit to get it nice and smooth, and literally come back with the buffing wheel and buff it. Well, this I won't be able to get buffing wheel, so I'll buff it by hand.
Yeah, yeah.
And after that is when, or honestly, if I was gonna, I might take it to a guy to have it clear coated.
Yeah, yeah.
If it comes out nicely, just to get clear coated, then I'll just have him do it, because he'll probably leave it at like 2000 grit and spray on top of that. So like clear grips or something.
So you use the clear coat for the diffuser and everything?
The diffuser I didn't clear coat because it doesn't get exposed to UV. The little spats I did, the spats in the back.
Yeah, I was gonna say those look a little yellow.
Yeah, so I did use 2K, but I mean even 2K in direct sun, not always 100%.
Interesting.
Like I said, the sun will always win. Even with a good UV resistance on your clear coat, the sun will eventually get to you. And those things see just tons of direct sun to where they are.
Yeah.
Keep these rough edges, keep massaging best I can. Yeah, the fun part with this stuff is coming down the next day, like tomorrow morning. It's like Christmas morning. You come downstairs and you're like, try to see how
your
it
project
looks.
turned out.
Exactly. And you start touching and playing with it, like, oh, did I get this right? Did that radius stick? Does this radius not stick?
Yeah.
That's where you find out how well it did.
I mean, it's looking good so far. Hopefully.
Yeah, this radius looks great. I think this is gonna be a clean cut. That one.
Yeah, yeah.
This one down here is okay. Everything inside looks good. I don't see anywhere it's pulling up. It looks like it's all touched pretty well. This edge right here, I seem to have been getting underneath this pretty well. So I think that's going to be okay.
But as you said, the piece itself is black, so.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
But it's just keeping it from coming up, because they won't be the shape. It'll be a little bit up.
I see. You're right.
This edge right here sucks, because that one's a really hard one. That's where I really should have got some spray glue, because it does not want to sit here.
Yeah, it's not sticking on.
But as long as this edge right along the surface here is touching correctly, let me see, looks like it is, then that should be fine. So I'll just cut right here, and so that it's not sticking, will be gone. This under here looks like it's doing okay. Just keep doing that to it. Force it underneath. Yeah, I would love to get like a little, like when I was in Formula C, we had a tiny little autoclave.
A little what?
Autoclave, basically a pressure chamber. And that's what you should do with these things, is you basically pressure on the outside and a vacuum on the inside, and you get super, super nice, high quality carbon parts.
Huh.
That's how it's professionally done. It's
Professional.
with an
way to
autoclave.
do it, yeah. Neat.
Now, I was just going to buy the carbon version of these things, but I wanted to do something for the show. So
Yeah, no, this is really neat. As you said, making it, having a story with each part is very cool.
yeah,
That's the other thing is like I could probably buy the mirror caps, but I think it would be cooler to do it. Even a shift knob would be neat. Maybe just the outer cylinder of it, and leave the top as a sticker or something that you like.
yeah. I'm gonna walk around here and see what this front looks like. See what it looks like in the sun. Reflections, okay. This surface here is my challenge. This will be the hardest part.
Oh, I see it now. I see.
Does not want to stick to this angle. I might. How does it smell? Can you still smell it? It should be pretty decent by now. It should be okay. Can you still smell it?
No, not really.
Yeah, because at this point the hardener is, a lot of the chemical work's been done. It's pretty much just slow. The rest of it's going to be pretty slow from this stage.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So from this stage forward, the stickiness isn't getting worse. The material is getting a little stiffer, so that's kind of what it's changing now. It's moving more like a sheet as opposed to a fiber.
So what happens if that doesn't stick? You could still cut it off, right? It just wouldn't.
What I'm worried about is the radius. Is like if I cut it here, but it's lifting on the edge, I guess I could come back and glue that edge down because the carbon's still gonna be a little bit malleable. But I'd rather not. I'd rather just be like, over there.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Oh well. We even talked about the spray glue. I'm like, I think I'll be okay. Should have just used it. Tricky part with spray glue though is you can only do it to the base layer.
Is what?
You can only do it to a base layer. You can't really do like a layer and then a layer on top of it, spray glue. Because then the resin might not penetrate through the glue.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
I just want to hold that there. Can you pass me some of those little wood blocks over there?
Which ones?
The little stakes. Over there by the Roundup. You see those they look like little stakes.
Steaks?
Right, the Roundup, you see the Roundup bottle? By the AC. No, right. Wooden stakes.
Where the? Oh, there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shit, I shouldn't have put my hand on there. Oh no! My hand's getting stuck. Just pass me maybe one or two at a time here.
Yeah.
Let's try this. Okay.
Oh, okay. That kind of works.
Might work. Here, I don't know how it's gonna work. Let's see another one.
Oh, I think that'll work. Yeah. stick it in. Oh yeah, that should work.
Definitely getting a tighter radius now.
Yeah. That looks pretty good.
Might make it more of a bitch to cut off, but it should at least grab me a little bit
yeah.
tighter. Because now I'm going to be cutting it off and having wood in the way, but that's okay. Dremel can take out wood pretty easily. So now,
Oh yeah, because the wood's gonna stick.
yep, the wood's going to be basically now, basically those pieces of wood are gone. They are now part of the resin. Because the resin just loves wood. It'll just soak it right up.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see, anything else? Maybe...
There you go, yeah. That looks good. This looks good.
Actually, can't keep my fingers together, otherwise they won't come apart. Scalpel. Thank you.
Doctor.
Doctor, 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 doctor. Okay.
Need one more?
I'm gonna need another one. The method appears to be working now.
It's looking great inside. Take a picture of that.
Got it? I think my fingers are stuck together now.
It's stuck that way now.
Yeah, they kind of... So I don't want to rip the gloves either. Alright, so at this point, I think we're done. I mean, I don't want to touch anymore. I have a decent tuck on all my radiuses. I'll come back with a cutoff wheel all around. Then, like I mentioned, I'll do like a light sand on it and a polish back. Or I'll take it straight to a auto body guy, which I might do that.
Get a nice
I'll cut this out, I'll trim around it, get it kind of like, give it a rough sand so it's smoother, and then just ask him to spray clear. Or maybe I just spray clear, not sand it at all. I don't know, we'll see. I can also come back with a, oh, is that a, oh, don't be a bubble. Ah, shit, there's a bubble.
Oh, 9.
You have another piece of wood over there anywhere?
Yep.
Little pieces?
Yep. This. Or this.
That's a good size, yeah.
It's a little hairy.
Okay, let me see, we got. Okay. Okay, that's better. Still think there's a bubble there. This is not ideal. How else can I do this? Is it staying down? It's kind of staying down. Ooh. There's a backup solution to this. Let me take these gloves off and show you guys another little trick I've learned. in DIY, not doing it the right way methods.
Is it for the bubble?
Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of plastic, lay it over top the part, and, oh, damn. Actually, using my hands again to massage it down with the plastic on there. Trying to get these off. Come on. Release your grip.
So, like, cut them out?
There we go. I'm just going to wrap it over the edge. I can do this one like this. There we go. Free at last. So, carbon everywhere. All right, what I'm thinking is, grab some plastic real quick. Where did I put that plastic? That's kind of thin. That's a little bit thicker. I might just steal some of this. A little bit thicker plastic. Literally just gonna take a plastic bag. Tear it open.
You gonna vacuum it just like that piece, or?
So I want to use. Let's get some holes in it. So I'm trying not to touch where the holes are. That sticker there. Let's do the back side. Now I can touch it. And push on it.
Push the bubble out.
Yep. Because before, if I pushed on it, it would just come up with my hands.
Yeah.
But now I can push on it,
Pull out.
and it just completely come off of it. Yep.
Yeah.
So this works a little bit better. The only thing is, I will say, I've done this before, where getting this off is a bitch.
Game plastic.
So I'm trying not to get it into a lot of surfaces. I'm just trying to get my real pretty ones, my big surfaces here. So that way I can still try to get it off. Because if I just do it like I do a whole part, it comes like that. It basically comes like the garbage bag method. And it's really hard to get it off. You basically just pick at it for hours. But it does work. And now I can actually really feel that my radiuses are actually holding nicely on that corner now. So that would work as well. So yeah, vacuum bag, I won't have to do any of this. An autoclave and a vacuum bag, and you don't have to do any of this stuff.
None of it, yeah.
But again, if you think about cost-wise, that resin cost me $100, and you can see how much I use, none of it. So
Yeah.
I probably would have gotten a lot smaller kit, but I still make more carbon fiber parts, so I keep some lying around. So I could have got a lot smaller kit. So let's say probably $60, maybe $50 worth of that. I got a small piece of that. So you could be into this project for under $100.
The whole thing.
That's what's cool about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
it
nothing.
is doable without the crazy expensive stuff you see on YouTube. Because a lot of these carbon companies on YouTube that are showing you products and like, here's the vacuum bag and here's a pump and here's a special this and special that. That really adds up. And they want you to buy their stuff, and the way of doing it is the correct way of doing it. Don't get me wrong. Their way is the right way. But for a DIY person who just wants to fuck around a little bit and play with some of this stuff,
Yeah.
you don't have to do that way. You can do this on the budget.
No need for overkill.
No. Because a lot of the YouTube videos you see on how to skin carbon, they're using some really expensive setups. With
Yeah, I bet.
buying vacuum pumps. All those bags are not cheap, to be honest. All the time it takes to prep the mold release, making a gel coat on something, it's a lot of work. This is the ghetto way of doing it. Ghetto fabulous way of doing it.
Fabulous.
Alright, I think that's working.
Might need to steal some of these small bits of wood.
Yeah. I put that one over there on the jack for you.
Where?
On the jack.
Oh, yeah.
I think I might grab another bag here and do some more stuff.
Just toss it in the back of the Acura. Hopefully that control arm bushing doesn't cause me a nightmare again.
Oh yeah, Aditya's M3, he's got to go back and redo his control arm again. Blows.
I have to get it aligned again, right?
Oh fuck, yeah you do. Oh man.
I might just go to Firestone and get their lifetime.
Do they still offer that? I thought they got rid of that.
They still have it.
Oh. They stopped doing that one. That's good.
Then I can just come in every time. Yeah, because I already got it aligned, like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But Atlanta can't hurt. I'm sure I've ran over enough potholes. How often do you get your car aligned?
Not that often.
Well, it is what it is, as they would say.
I'm just gonna kind of, like I said, keep playing with it, keep working a little bit. While I still have a chance here, because it's not totally to its hardened stage yet.
Could you theoretically sand the plastic off?
Oh yeah, there's some spots probably I might have to do that.
Yeah, fair enough.
But you don't want to, sanding on carbon is kind of a pain because you actually destroyed the weave, which I did on that one. You know, the spots, you sand too much and you start cutting into the weave.
Which spots did you do that
The
on?
very top of that one, you see it, what happens when you start cutting into the weave.
Oh, yeah. I see. That one's more for function, right?
Yeah, and that's only one little blemish on there.
Yeah,
It's just in a bad
whole
spot,
thing.
unfortunately. I think the tight radiuses are holding now, which is good.
Oh, I'm craving a fried chicken sandwich.
What time is it?
I think it's right at 5.
Okay, that's about good time to wrap it up.
Yeah, we need to do the
The
grading.
Oh yeah.
So
I think we're good to rate. We can do that. And I can, while you're getting that up, I'll start to try to get some of this garbage here out of the way. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay. What should we call this? Carbon fiber.
Carbon skinning.
Carbon skinning. All right, Mark. Difficulty 1 to 5.
Well, I guess let's stand over here.
Hey, we could change the view.
Well, actually, hold on a second. Can you see us that well? Can you see us at all? Oh, man. Okay,
Can,
that's good
yeah.
enough. Okay.
So, carbon skinning. On a 1 to 5 scale, how difficult was that?
It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Especially for a first timer, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes.
Say, yeah.
So I would say a 4.
4. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to try it, but it's going to be hard. I'm glad I got to watch it before. Time?
It's pretty intensive. I mean, it's at least a 3 if not a 4.
3, yeah.
Let's give it a 3.
This was a small part, too.
Yeah,
and
if it got any bigger.
Cost?
Pretty cheap. I'd say it was like a 2.
2, yeah. I mean,
It's a couple $100. It's not too bad.
to get like you get all the overhead, right? So like getting the large sheet of carbon out of $200, you probably used like, I don't know.
Yeah, none of it. Yeah.
$20 worth.
And I'm actually kind of like discounting because you can buy that carbon in like $50
yeah.
for this kind of project.
Performance impact depends, right?
Yeah, if you're doing
Skinning.
well, skinning, no, it is
No.
skinning. So I would actually go with
Zero.
zeros.
Yeah. We have a lot of zeros on our performance impacts, but style.
Style. This is a solid 5.
That's a one. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like 100% a 5. It's interesting. The only other 5 we have on style is fender rolling.
Okay.
So this and that, and then yeah, nice. So I'd say this is a pretty worth it mod if you know what you're doing.
Even if you don't know what you're doing, it's fun to play with. I mean, at the end of the day, the risk of this is very slim. 'Cause, I mean, I don't need this in my car.
Yeah.
Worst case, you're out a couple $100 and you have to throw away the first part you make.
And the health risk, but
Yeah, there's that. But if you take precautions, like
you got to take. Yeah.
this is for resin. One of these respirators is more than enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty good mod then today on the show. I'd say like definitely a little more intermediate than some of our other ones, but I'm glad we got to do it. I think this was a really cool desktop style thing. Definitely maybe want to skin some more stuff. At least I personally want to try it
You
out.
can totally do it. Yeah, we just got to get more carbon.
Yeah.
I had the resin now.
Yeah.
Plenty of resin.
Look at some carbon. Cool.
All right, y'all. Well, I think that's an episode. I'm gonna keep massaging this as time goes on and make sure it stays nice and tight. And
Don't want to watch the paint dry.
y'all want to watch this paint dry. But we'll do Instagram updates. So if you guys check in on Instagram, I'll be posting updates of how this goes throughout the rest of the process.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye-bye.